So each Sunday at this time we look at the big stories and the big issues in crime this week, and guiding us through it all, as always, Jackie Hames, who served with the Metropolitan Police for 30 years. Good to see you, Jackie.
Morning.
As always, we're starting with what is a hugely upsetting story. Alice Gross, the 14-year-old, missing now for more than a month.
Yeah.
Very little progress being made, it would seem, despite the best of intentions.
Exactly. I mean, there has been a huge search for her. Forces have been supplying officers to help the Met to search this big area, and I think what's been underestimated is quite how much wide open space. You know, we think of Hanwell being in the centre of London, built up area, lots of blocks of flats and things like that, and there are, but there are also huge areas of parkland and common land to be searched. And to search it to the degree which they need to, which is very, very detailed, it takes a lot of people on the ground, and I understand actually the RAF have been brought in today as well.
Yeah, and providing some sort of aerial imagery of sort of key search areas. We've had a reconstruction as well this weekend, which is a bit of sort of a classic move. I mean, your experience, do they really jog people's memories?
They certainly can do. What the technique detectives use when interviewing witnesses, for instance, is by cognitive interviewing, putting people back in the place they were when they saw something of interest. So effectively, this reconstruction is doing that for the whole population or the whole community, putting them back, seeing that girl in the place that she was at the time she was at when she disappeared, wearing the clothing and that very distinctive walk she had. Just seeing all that in the right context can jog people's memory, because remember, we're not asking them to remember a violent event, we're asking them to remember seeing a girl walking perfectly normally down the road, and ostensibly she seems to have disappeared into thin air.
Well, as you said, it's been a long time now, into the 5th week in all of this. Let's get an update on where we are from Rhiannon Mills.
A, B and C, we're going to go from this pathway to that fence as best you can.
This is the 5th week that police have been looking for Alice Gross, and the resources deployed only appear to be growing. As teams continue to physically search inch by inch this area of West London, CCTV footage from 300 cameras over a 6-mile area is also being analysed.
This gives you a really clear idea of how difficult these searches have been. They've actually looked over this area already, but so intense is the need to try and find Alice. They're doing everything they can to try and search the areas where she was last seen.
Those leading the investigation say they've never seen such a strong reaction from the community. Yellow ribbons appear on every street. They've been put up since the 14-year-old went missing on the 28th of August, a sign of hope that she'll come home. Today, thousands of runners taking part in the Ealing Half Marathon are being asked to think of Alice as they travel the route close to where she was last seen.
We thought it would be a really good idea to give some runners bows to run and to run around the course. The course is now covered in ribbons, as you've probably seen, and it's quite an emotional sight to see, so we're really happy to be involved in helping them.
Police officers from around 20 different forces have been drafted in as the search operation continues to expand. But those in charge of the inquiry still know that it's likely that local knowledge could hold the answer to where Alice has gone. Rhiannon Mills, Sky News in Hanwell.
And Rhiannon, I think, is still down at the scene this morning. Hello, Rhiannon. Can you tell us what activity is going on there this morning?
Well, Jackie, in fact, I'm at the Ealing Half Marathon, which, if you like, is part of that community effort which is running alongside those enormous police searches that we've still got ongoing. Yesterday, the Metropolitan Police were pointing out the huge numbers of resources that they still have deployed in terms of looking for Alice, but they also wanted to stress just how much the community have been involved in this push to try and bring Alice back home. Now, the Ealing Half Marathon is always a really big local event, and we're better to try and harness more local support in terms of making sure that people are still out there looking for Alice, in terms of jogging people's memories. And what they've been doing today is they've made little yellow ribbons that they've been giving to every single runner that's been walking past, and as they crossed the start line earlier this morning, if you like, there was that sea of yellow ribbons. As you're driving around this area as well, there are yellow ribbons literally everywhere, and despite despite the fact that we are now into the 5th week of this police search, those who are leading the local Find Alice campaign say they're still trying to stay positive that Alice is going to come home.
It's interesting, Jackie, isn't it, that actually community support in all of this is really important, as it is with all the missing people cases that you